Hello everyone, Happy New Year to you, Happy 2018. Thank you so much for coming back, and for those of you who don't know me, my name is Joanna. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you like what you find here. If you would like 6-month readings, I just posted those on my Vimeo On Demand page. That information is down below for you. So if you would like a little bit more information to see what's ahead for the next 6 months for you, go ahead and click on the link. It'll take you to my site. It was nice for me to see that majority, if not all of the readings, are literally a continuation from your January reading. So it was nice to see the consistency. Many of you are on a road to discovery or rediscovery, which is very exciting to see. And it's just exciting to see for when I see this. So that's fantastic. I'm not going to spend too much time on the intro. Nobody likes long intros, including myself. So all I'm going to say is enjoy these. If this makes sense to you, post below if you would like a private session. That information is down below for you as well. Listen to your moon sign and your rising sign, as they may offer you additional information to complete an entire picture of your life. And of course, because these are general, they may not apply to every single one of you, and that's okay. I always say take little pieces and bits that do apply to you and listen down the road at the end of the month to see if more applies to you, because that's generally how it goes. But without further ado, let's just move on with the January readings. I do wish you a wonderful month of January. Take care of yourself, and without further ado, let's jump into January readings. Hello beautiful Leos, this is going to be your reading for January 2018. It is a very, very, very powerful reading. I just did your 6-month reading, and it's literally a continuation of this, so I might be referring back and forth just to help you have a greater understanding. When I looked at all the numbers here, it's coming up to number 11, which is balance, which is justice, which is fairness, but it also leads to the number 2, which is decisions. Now, I know many of you have been having a rough time over the last few months. I get that, it's almost done. But in the month of January, there seems to be a focus on some sort of decision-making process. This decision is due to some changes, both internal and external, but I feel these changes have been happening for a while. It is not something that is instant or that is going to happen in January. It's a continuation of. I just heard them say to me, face your fears. So many of you, I feel, will be facing your fears for the nth time, I think. So the overall energy, when I asked for the overall energy for January, 2 cards came up, and I didn't question which one. I knew it was both. You've got both threes. You have 3 of Wands and you have 3 of Swords in this order, okay? And actually this order, it's important. The order is important. That's how it landed. You are in a process of creative expansion. Your soul is expanding its view on life, and it wants more for you than you have previously chosen for yourself. This will lead to a whole bunch of different occurrences, some of which may be made by you, some of which may be made by somebody else. Throughout the entire process of you expanding, which is literally moving past your comfort zone and past your own horizons and past what you're used to, and that may create a little bit of a ripple effect, emotionally speaking and mentally speaking. This card generally represents a heartache. However, the way I am feeling this, it's, see, this is you here. This is in a fetal position. The body posture is very much of lack, not enough strength, lack of faith, lack of hope, lack of confidence, lack of power. This is you, okay? Whatever, and you've been going this way for quite some time. Because you're in a process of expansion, your soul is wanting to expand you in different horizons. There's going to be a separation from the old you to the new you who wants to emerge. Now, the separation can feel painful, particularly when we are resisting. So I'm not saying your life is going to be painful. That's not what I'm saying, because it's been that way for a while for some of you. But if we don't recognize what's happening, and if we cling on to the past, the separation process may very well be more challenging. Now, this is separating from somebody else, or it's separating an aspect of you. Yes, there's going to be a separation. The separation may be because of work, because of a family member, but I feel a lot of fears will come up with this. With this card, a lot of emotions have to be faced. You see, this person is definitely freer than this person. There's the sun illuminating this person, and there is this glow, which means this person who seems confident, light, and with purpose is guided by spirit. This individual is guided by his fears. So what is happening in the month of January, for many of you, it's a culmination of things that has happened over a prolonged time. But essentially, this is going to push you to face this, okay? Why is this happening? Because you're on the road into a transformation. Your soul wants to move to something different, something better, something exciting, and this is not going to be for all of you, but for many of you. But because of your mental state, because of your conditioning, because of what you believe yourself to be, that cannot happen until some things are brought up to surface and faced. And there are several cards that talk about this from different decks. So that's the overall energy. Expansion, which will cause a bit of chaos in your mental state. Okay? And that's going to be, that's going to happen because of some circumstances. But I feel it's because you faced them already, not because you're going to face them. So there's nothing bad about this, but there's a new beginning that's happening here. When I ask what is influencing all of this for you, what I see here, that in the past you come, or you're leaving this behind, but you come from a place of defeat. You come from a place of, I can't do this anymore. This could feel slightly depressed, not having a very high belief in yourself. And this person is pretty much the same as this person. Okay, those are two people. So this is where you're coming from. This is what we want you to separate from, or what your spirit wants you to separate from. So that's because it's shown to me as the influence. It tells me that this is what's influencing you at this time. You're being influenced by lack, by disappointment, by lack of progress, and you've had enough of something. That is going to make you feel temporarily not very good. Okay? Now, when I say not very good, please don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying there's going to be like some prolonged difficult stuff. No, this is the sun. And the sun in any position is a fantastic fantastic card. This just says that there will be a brief moment where you feel slightly not as bright, not as lit, not as wanting to be out there. You might feel a little bit like you want to retreat, but that's okay. The reason being is because you seem to have a King of Cups next to you. Now, this could be an aspect of you, the emotional aspect of you, and it basically may say that when you're getting to this point where things are starting to feel not as bright or less bright than they have been momentarily, you'll have your emotional strength to rely on. This will also mean, alternatively, that there may be someone who is emotionally very balanced right around you or next to you, who will help you get through this a bit of a slump. Okay, when I was doing your 6-month reading, many of you were moving in a different direction, and there was focus that was being required. And you actually have, the next card is actually the same card that you got in your 6-month reading, so that's fantastic. When I ask what is the short-term future, what's the future holds for you, you've got 4 of Swords. This is how the reading for the 6 months begins. It's with this card, but from a completely different deck. So it's literally a continuation. So I find that fascinating. This is saying that in January, for the most part, you're going to get a mental break. and you've been feeling not very good, defeated, lack of progress, lack of vision, I've had enough. That's where you're coming from. That's what's influencing you. And that's what may make you feel a little bit, not as bright. But remember, you are in the process of absolute expansion. Your spirit wants more for you. Your mind doesn't think it can go beyond what it believes it to be true for you. So this is going to challenge you in some ways, but that's okay. So one of the things is sleep here. So for some of you, if you can't sleep, that's a sign of exhaustion, one of the signs of exhaustion. The other thing he's asking me to look at, I'm seeing this red flower. I don't know if you can see it here. And it just, my attention went to it. It's on her back. Now, I can't quite see what flower it is, but red to me symbolizes stability and security. Now, I feel like this bird, and I believe this is, I want to say shapeshifter. So it's a black bird. It's a mystery. There's a mystery there. This mystery is bringing security and safety, but the person is sleeping. She's not aware of it. She or he. This person is not aware of it. Point is that behind the scenes, there are good things being worked out for you. There are plans being worked out for you, but you may not have privy to see them yet. Hence why you're not facing the window. You're facing away from the window. But you will get some moments of respite where you won't feel as mentally challenged or drained. It's almost like you'll have a little bit of mental holiday, mental break. So there's a rest period here also in the month of January, which is really, really good. Now, I asked, tell me what they need to focus on. What's really important for them to focus more on in the month of January? The first message you have is why. And this is about you being acutely aware of what fuels your choices and decisions. Example, are you looking for a certain job because somebody wants you to be somebody, or because you feel that if you don't have a title you are not important, or you feel you need to be a doctor because your parents want you to be a doctor but you actually hate being a doctor but you're going to be a doctor? So the reason why you would choose this is because you would be needing to please your parents for whatever reason, because if you don't need, if they're not pleased, you may be afraid of the consequences. I mean, the list is endless. Point is that unless we fully understand and are conscious and aware of the reasons behind we do what we do, oftentimes we will reach for things and do things and go into situations without having any idea why we're doing it with a deep, as far as a deeper meaning. And example, if you are trying to get a fantastic career and it has to have a title, and that is, you really want the title, you need to examine, and that's just an example, you may need to examine what is so important about the title. Is it because, well, it's nice to have, or fundamentally speaking, if you don't have that title, you don't feel you are as good or as worthy? And you'd have to work on that, right? Because there are people, as an example, without titles who are phenomenal and absolutely amazing. So this is about understanding why. Now I'm noticing a heart here, okay? So a lot of this will be emotion based. And I also see wings. This is knowledge. Wings symbolize to me spirit. So this is spiritual knowledge. This person is leaning over, trying to open this knowledge that is around her in order to educate yourself. So this is very much about looking within, seeking answers from within, understanding, having a full view of why we do what we do. And it's important because a lot of the times you do things that you think are important, but their importance is actually not yours. It's attached to something or somebody else. So I hope I'm not being too convoluted, but basically it says focus on why you want certain things and why you do what you do. Hugely important, because you may realize that when you realize what you're getting out of it and what you're looking at are two different things, then you change the course of your action. Okay, so that's hugely important. The other thing is with this card, and this is called Clean It Up in reverse. The moment I look at this card, I want to say mind your own business. And what I feel about this card is that please make sure that you don't spend too much time and attention on minding somebody else's business versus yours. So that could be several ways. You are too invested in someone or somebody else that ultimately doesn't serve you. You are too invested and you stick your nose to other people's business and it's not yours. More than anything, it tells me that you are taking on too many responsibilities that don't belong to you. And why do we do it? Well, we do it for gazillion reasons. But once you figure out why you do it, then you have a better way or a better understanding in order to separate yourself from the old you that is very fearful to someone who is very empowered. Okay, so that's very, very important. And you're moving very close to a completion. And like I said, the 2018 6-month reading starts with this card. And then it progresses from there. And there's changes, fantastic changes. And there's some really substantial stuff for you, good stuff coming in. So if you want that, then that information is down below. But anyway, I feel like you're still ending some things. He's asking me to talk about fairness. What may seem unfair to you right now will shortly become available to you from a different perspective. Very interesting. You may find yourself in a situation where something you feel it's not fair, and then down the road something transpires and you all of a sudden have a full view, and then you go, oh, now I get it. Or yeah, I mean, you understand the concept. So that's very important. There, he says, value your own system or your own opinion, but know that other people may not feel the same way about it that you do. Let that be okay. So if you are someone who wants other people to you want to convince other people of certain things, the way you see, the way you view, or maybe it's just really important for you that people agree with you. You have to examine that again. Why do you do it? Okay, and come up with a solution. Basically, we all have our own truth, and our truth is based on our experience and nobody else's. So if you end up living somebody else's dream or somebody else's life, you cannot live yours. And I feel that's what Spirit is trying to help you do. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. If this doesn't make sense to you right away, listen to it at the end of the month. The 6-month projections may offer you more information if you like long term. That information is down below. Thank you so much for liking, for sharing, and for subscribing. I wish you a wonderful month of January. And if you want a private session, that information is down below for you. Thank you so much, and I will see you soon. Take care.